Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Crimi-Trent. Today we're doing something really special and different. I'm going to show you how you can draw a botanical floral bouquet and then paint over it with a watercolor wash so it looks like this beautiful antique botanical print that you've created. I have drawn it in, I will show you how quickly I draw it. Some of it's slow, but then I fast forward the drawing. And then I have this drawing available on my Etsy shop that you can download. If you didn't want to draw this or trace it yourself on paper, you can print it out. You can wash it on this paper, but I wouldn't suggest it. I would suggest you print it on a watercolor paper, which I did here, and you can wash in, and it may bleed a little bit, but it will still have the same effect if you can't, you know, the time to draw the whole thing. But even still, there's the PDF you can purchase that you can just do this yourself without having to think about how to draw it. So let's get started. Okay, to start with, I'll have my supplies shown here. I have my Arches 100% cotton paper. It was a 10 by 14 inch piece of paper that I just folded in half. And I sketched out lightly with my 2H pencil what I want to draw in here. And I have my Sharpie pens. I like Sharpie pens better than the Micron pens. It's just my preference. They're non-bleeding ones, the fine ones. I just prefer to use these. Micron pens are good too, but I like the Sharpie. So I don't think I'm going to sit here and show you the whole entire tutorial of drawing, but most of it, and then I'll fast forward it. And I'm planning on offering the actual drawing for a PDF download on my Etsy shop for those who don't want to draw it themselves, if they just want to print it out and then paint over it for like practice or whatnot, put it up and use it for something like that. It's as long as you don't use it for commercial use, you can do the download. You know, it's a personal thing for a print for your house or a gift. So let me get started with some of this. I just sketched out some petals and some branches and areas around here. And this, even though this is a pen on this rough paper, it's still going to work well. Still, I start with just a squiggly kind of circle. Let me zoom in here. And I'll do some squiggly petals. And you can kind of hear that pen making that noise. Now this is a really fine pen, so I might go in over it with a thicker pen later. And what's great about drawing on this rough paper is you're not going to get this boring, smooth line. You're going to get a nice, jagged, even sometimes you can see right here. I don't know if you can't really see it because it's really tiny, but it's going to miss areas because of the paper, which is kind of the beauty of it. So you draw your basic petal like that. And then you're going to go in and you're going to do some shading with the pen. And how you do shading is just basically doing lines. Pulling lines up like this. Little ones, short ones, long ones. Let me zoom in a little more for you. You can just dot them. And again, you can go get tighter with it. You can see I'm doubling up on the lines with the pen. You shade with the pen. Just little lines, and you double up here on the edges. Like so, to get that shadow line. You can use a thicker Sharpie, or like I said, you use some Micron pens, and then you can double up in here. I'll probably just do like bunch of little dots. So, and also this pen could be dying on me also, which means it's not performing as well as it should be. So I switched it out. Again, you just do those little lines for shading. You can just keep going over it, kind of like a pencil. But that's what's great about drawing on this type of paper. Is you're going to get these really jaggedy. You can pull the lines almost all the way down also. See that? And for something like a tulip up here, again, you can hear that little bumping noises. Making a petal like this, put the stem. And you could do some side lines like this. Oh, I'm realizing I'm even saying that, sorry. Do some side lines going up. Darker ones down in here, just keep connecting them so it's like a shadow. Like I said, you can go back on top of that line. Make these little jagged lines. It's very much like doodling. It's pretty therapeutic, actually. You can sit doing this drawing while you're watching TV, listening to the shows, or music. For stems, you can keep drawing in lines that are straight, or you just do a little, I sometimes just do these little dash lines here, going horizontal. And of course I'm going to shade in where it meets the petal because it's behind it. So these little pens are great. And you can you can make the leaves have more variety with thicker pens. You could use a calligraphy type of pen. I believe I have one somewhere, but I don't know if I can find it. Here it is. Excuse the noise. This type of pen. This is a Faber-Castell Pitt artist pen. And see, it has that. And now you can get that thick. I would use this one sporadically. So you can have thick and thin lines, which is a nice touch. Go back over those petals. It could save you a lot of time. See, I can go back in here, just making these little dash lines in here. The inside of the middle of the petals. It's just going to change up the tone. And the composition with the thick and thin lines. See that? So it's coming to life more. You can use it here and just make these little I said, you don't use it like in every single part of your drawing. You change it up. Again, take the smaller pen, go down here. So what I'm going to do is do a speed type drawing. Well, not really speed type drawing. I'm going to draw it through, show you how I'm drawing it, but speed up the process so you're not being bored here. Okay. Okay, so I completed my drawing, as you can see here. And let me tell you, this is on the paper, but you can actually print out, if you have a good printer, right on, look at that. This is a print I just did. This is the original, the left. This is the print to the right that I used. So like I said, I'm going to put it on a download on my Etsy shop. I'll put the link in the description box if you want to purchase it, and you can print it out on your, if you have a good printer. I have a Canon, it's a Pixma Pro printer. It's really great. They're not that expensive, but the inks are expensive. So I printed this, and it can do thick paper. This is actually, I cut this, ours is 100% cotton paper, 8 by 10, put it to my printer, and printed it out. What do you think, huh? Not bad? This is 8 by 10. So obviously the paper doesn't come 8 by 10. I cut the paper. I would use a good cutter so it has a nice edge, so the printers don't like papers that have weird edges. They have to have like the straight edge. So I really printed this out, and I could paint on this, or I could paint on the original. Either or, you know. I might just paint on the printed one and keep the original plain. So here's the printed one on my Arches paper with the ink, and I think I'm just going to grab my Princeton Neptune number 8 brush, get some water on it, and then here you can have fun. You can, that's what I'm saying, like printing out is great. You could print it out a couple of times, and you could paint ones that are pink or yellow, purple, whatever you feel like painting. The anemone can be any color. I mean, these little buds down here, I'm gonna paint a little lilac, bluish. I mixed some lilac with some ultramarine, so it has this blue color. So now I'm just gonna wash it in, see? Right on top of that. And I'll zoom in. You could also just take the print out, and now it's bleeding a little bit because that's ink, which is fine. You can go in and take some of the darker blue, just bleed that in there. You see how you just wash it in? You don't have to fill the whole thing in. You can just fill some of it in. And it's going to have this great vintage look to it. And the leaves, grab some green. I have mix some hooker's green and some sap green. Just wash in the green. That's a little too bright, so a little burnt umber to it. Dull it down. I always tap my brush when I have the paint on it and just take some of it off on the paper towel. See, making this like a yellowish, olivey type green, so it's not so bright, more antique looking. And just filling in. It's like paint by number. You can draw your own if you don't want to use mine, which is no big deal, which is actually even better. The same technique, but I was just using a permanent marker like the Sharpie or the Micron. You can do this with like not just flowers, I mean you can animals. It's a cool look. Again, you go in and add some shadow. Just fill in these stems. Pull this back. We're just going in and filling in the leaves. But yeah, I don't know if people realize that you can actually, I did print it on my nice paper, which I sell. This is the really nice paper that I sell for my prints on Etsy. And it came out nice too. And I don't know if you could paint on it, but you'd have to do really not super water, because that's going to bleed, and that's not going to, it's going to pucker too. The paper is going to pucker. But you could use colored pencil, you know. I see I'm just tapping in the green all around. Where the leaves are, this kind of antique-y, olivey green. I wanted to have that vintage type look. Just filling it in around the page where the leaves are. This takes the stress of painting the flowers out. And this way you can play with the wet on wet technique, like I showed you down here, like in the tulip. I might keep it in the purple family. So I'll grab some of that same color. I'll show you a technique how you'll layer it. So you wash down this purple. It's fairly light. There's that antique purple look, because it's purple with a little brown, just a touch, or you can put a little yellow in there. Same thing, I'm washing it over here. It's a little wet, not super wet, because if you printed it out from the printer, it's ink, so it will bleed a little bit. If you painted on the actual permanent marker, it will not bleed. And I can show you that too. See, it's bleeding a little bit in here where the ink is. If I go in here, it's not going to bleed. The same way as the ink from the printer will. So you can go wash that flower back in. I have another technique I'll have to show you another time that's similar to this. So we fill in the color, like I was saying, and I'll show you the layering of color. So we have the simple one color wash, the purple. But you go in and add rose, just rose. I have some rose right here. Just get it watery loose. Good consistency. Dab it on my paper towel a little bit. And you go on top of that purple, and it's going to change that color completely. It's more of like a pink purple, because you're mixing them actually together on the page. See, I'll add the purple back in, and it changes again. Isn't that cool? I can add, let's see, let's add the purple. We could do it the opposite way. So I'll add this purple, which you see here, and go and add ultramarine blue. Look at that. Now that's going to change that purple. You see that? That's how you're mixing on the paper. See, I can put that blue right in here, and I'm mixing it. Again, see, the ink's not bleeding because it's the permanent marker. The ink bled a little bit here, but it's not it still looks beautiful. It's going to be different, however you want to do it. See, and you have the flowers down. You can control where you're going to put the color, how you want to put the color. I have a wash down, and then I'm putting. So it's kind of like a paint by number situation. I know people get intimidated by drawing. So this is one way, and it's a really pretty way to have your painting come alive without drawing out every single thing. So I'm just going through, filling in the purple colors. And you can do the wet on wet technique here too, blow it up. That's fairly wet, so I'll go and add in some ultramarine, and I'll just bleed it. It's bleeding. Now remember, I've mentioned this many times, when you're doing the wet on wet, people are like, why do I have that hard edge? Well, it could be too wet. You want it damp, but not super damp. And if you have a hard edge, you just go back in and clean up your brush. See how I'm doing this? I'm just pushing it around. Just soften it. Like so. But this is a real fun exercise. Like I said, I'm going to have the download on my shop. I will have the link in the description box below if you wanted to purchase it. If you want to color it in, you don't have to color in, you can just have the print. I normally never do downloads, but I figured I'd give my fabulous special YouTube viewers something to help them with their watercolor. That was a little bit easier for them to control. And a little trick of the trade at the same time. Botanicals are super hot right now in the industry. You'll see them everywhere. I have to kind of keep on edge of what's going on because I designed for companies that go in stores. I've been doing it for 20 some odd years. I've had major lines in many big stores. Excuse me. So I have to keep on top of trends. And right now, botanicals are hot, hot, hot. So sometimes you'll see some of my tutorials, maybe they don't make sense to you. They make sense to me because it's what's trending at the moment. And maybe you want to decorate your home. It's something that you created that's kind of trending. So I'm just filling in greenery, whatnot. You don't have to fill in every inch of the space. You can leave some of these stems white. You don't, or whatever the color paper is. You don't have to fill it all in. I mean, it could be like just like this, and that would look cool. You know, and then there's so many ways to do it. It doesn't have to be one particular way. I'm trying to make this very pale. I mixed the medium red with the crimson. I'm going to try and get that blush color I like. And really watered down to fill in that rose. And I can go back in on top and keep adding in more shadows. Or I don't have to. And the daisies, you know, Same thing, I could add the yellow, or I don't have to. I'm adding a little brown to this yellow. That's bright. There we go. Water it down. It's coming out too bright, so I'm going to keep watering it down. Just filling it in. Just washing it in. It's kind of like a paint by number, but not really. Because you can still make it unique by adding your different tones, your different washes. I mean, you can make these flowers really dark or really light. Go in and add different wash tone, like I'll show you. I add some more burnt umber, medium yellow. And I'll go in and just where the petals meet the middle. So that blends out. Over here, washing some little berries. They could be red, they could be blue. They could be any color you want them to be, really. Just play around with this. I think the anemone, I might make that blue. And if it doesn't look good, I can always just turn it into purple. This is going to be ultramarine. Washing in this color. Just have fun with it. Like so. Go in and bleed in the deeper blue. This way it's easier to have the stamen of the anemone because it's already drawn in with black. Just keep washing in this blue color. And if I think that's just too bright, I'll go in and add some indigo. Change that up a little bit. And if I think that's too dark, I'll just swipe it away. Okay, playing around with that. Here in the middle, you can keep it white or you can make it black like a black-eyed Susan. See that? And then this will be black, but I'll leave a halo. This is a lot of fun to do. So I'm going to fast forward this and come to the end. Okay, so there's what I did for pretty much quick finish to it. So there you go. So I really hope you like this tutorial. It's a fun, easy thing to do, and it looks really pretty. And like I said, it doesn't have to be multicolored. You can make it more muted colors, just simple, even just black and white, kind of gray tones. It would be really pretty, or just whatever colors work for you. So I really hope you like this tutorial. Like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget that the PDF download is on my Etsy shop if you wanted to print it out like I did here and color in, whatnot. So thank you so much, guys. Have a great day.